Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wednesday Night Racing here at Slow Motion Broadcasting. Tonight, we are coming to you from the virtual Germany at the Sachsenring circuit. Very unique track, very interesting, very unused on iRacing, newer to the circuit, but definitely going to be some interesting racing here with the Sim Racers Group F4 Immediate League, week number 11. We're winding down the season with 2 weeks left. In the commentary booth, or in the production booth tonight, we've got Adam Thompson, and in the commentary booth with me is Daniel Hall. I am Mike Cutie Patootie Braun, evidently. Thanks, Adam, for that. But Daniel, we have to come up with a nickname for you. But tonight is going to be an interesting race. We were talking about the track earlier. A lot of undulations, a lot of just long sweeper turns on this. How do you think tonight is going to run?
Oh, this race is going to be a challenge, and first of all, I'm going to hope you don't give me a nickname. But going back to the track here, the first sector is super technical. It's switchback turns, and see that turn 3, almost a 270-degree turn as you go through there. So first part of that track, the first part of the lap is very technical, and then you get into those sweepers, and then you get a fast third sector, basically. Long straightaways and 90-degree turns, and I think it's going to present a unique challenge to these guys, but we've seen some great racing already this season. I think we'll see some more of that tonight.
All right, here's our points currently in the Intermediate 1 class, and this is all with 2 throwouts. Your leader right now is Alex Velasco with 148 points. Varun Bali only 2 points back with 146. Then you got the internet sensation DP in the 3rd spot with 117 points. Kayla Mikowitz in the 4th spot with 100 points. And in the 5th is Josh Corn with 92. Then we're going to jump into the Intermediate 2 class. Chris Wang has been just dominating lately. 162 points for him. Jose Navas in the 2nd spot with 135. Then you got Rafael Cardenas with 94. Thomas Brashear with 90. In the 5th spot, Kukaran Dillon with 83 points. And then you've got the Inter-Alien class, which is all by himself. Stephen Case running it by himself. There will be some new additions next year. I have been advised by the higher-ups in SRG. There will be at least 1 or 2 guys joining him next season, which we are looking forward to. We're in qualifying right now, just barely 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the session. Everybody's trying to get around, trying to go around. This is that open qualifying session. Everybody's getting used. So we're going to go on board, Daniel, with Corwin as we're coming around the last sector. You talked about this section 3. This is going to be a good draft option, but here he comes into the last section. Daniel, let's do a lap around with Joshua Corwin.
Yeah, coming out of turn 13 onto the front straightaway here with Josh Corwin, you can start to see some of the elevation change. Quite a big drop down the back straightaway and trying to make some of that up here. He goes into turn 1, it just keeps going, and then it switches back to the left-hander, kind of sweeps around, and then got to be really careful here. It's a quick into turn 3, and here's that section. It just never ends. It's such a long corner. Really got to be patient to put the power down. Then you get to 4, 5, and 6 here. The triple apex seems to be a feature at most of the tracks that these guys have run on all season. It caught a lot of people out in the rain at Oschersleben, and I think these drivers are going to have to be really mindful of it there. Quick flick through 7 onto another straightaway into turn 8, which should be pretty flat in these cars. 9, just a little dog leg. And then you get to 10, and 11 sets you up through this long back straightaway. You see this so much elevation change as you head into turn 12. Kind of the last sweeper as we see a car go off there. That's going to be a critical spot. You're carrying so much speed, and if you're not careful, you will end up in the gravel. And then up through turn 13, a lot of elevation change in a short amount of time leads you back onto the straightaway, and that's a lap for Josh Corwin as he comes around, and he is going
P2 for Josh Corwin with that lap. 119.995. So great, or 993, excuse me, for Joshua Corwin. Put him up in that 2nd spot. So great lap with Josh. But Daniel, as we talked, that that this whole like first sector 1, sector 2 is kind of real technical, and with how free these cars are, and you got these long sweeping turns, it's going to be a definite challenge for these guys. But that sector 3, that's where you're going to be able to get tucked in with somebody and possibly get a draft, but that could also lead to, blind spots coming into turns and, guys going off the track and kicking up marbles onto the track. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little audio issue that we had to resolve. Adam Cutie Patootie Thompson to the rescue, able to get the plugs back in for us. So we are good to go. But out in front right now was about 7 minutes down. So we're closing in on that halfway point in the qualifying session. Danush Paborji is showing the way right now with a 119.2. He was quickest in practice. And if I remember correctly, his practice time was a 19 flat. So see if he can duplicate that, see if he could start up front. But we got Stephen Case back there in that 4 spot, just lurking back there, just waiting to get a good lap in. But Daniel, with the open qualifying like this, it really does lead to some challenges for these guys to try to get a good lap in on a quick track like this.
Yeah, traffic management's key in an open qualifying session, and this track's really unique with the tight technical section. You don't really want to be too close in the first half of the lap, but if you want to use some of the drafts, maybe you want to get as close as you can through the second half. So some trade-offs there, and might see if you have any friends out there that'll kind of lay over maybe and give you a little draft if you can help it. You see cars go off there. That's good job those guys getting back on the track. But yeah, that's the other aspect of traffic management. You could be on a flying lap and all of a sudden come across a car that's having issues, and that ruins your lap time and sets you back for the race.
Yeah, totally. And there's really only one like harder braking zone, and that's coming into turn 1. Everything else is pretty light braking and really carry your speed through. So it's definitely going to be an interesting challenge for these guys, as we're just kind of watching everybody come through right now. Everybody getting their tires warmed up as we're just over 8:30 down. So just past the halfway point, as we're just kind of jumping around and just seeing what everybody's running. And right now, we're sitting there with Adam Duvall coming down into that turn 1. This is that hard braking zone that I was talking about. And it's such a downhill kind of off camber. So it's going to really lead to guys pushing the limits as we watch Tyrone Da Silva come down the front straightaway on 3 green sectors. And Tyrone looks to put him in the 10th spot with a 120.2. So he's starting to find his groove, trying to work his way up the ladder. But right now on the point, you got DP leading the way right now in the 023, but leading in the Inter 2 class right now is Christopher Wang in the 14, sitting in that 7th spot overall. So we'll see where the guys sort out as we still have about 6 minutes left in qualifying. Billy Campbell Peach coming through the last sector right now up the front straightaway. It's a real tricky section coming up and out of that last turn. Put Billy with a 120.6, put him 13th overall right now. But everybody just getting going. As a reminder, this is Sim Racers Group. This is a group out of Northern California that has a brick and mortar store with a bunch of simulators in-house. And they do have probably about 8 to 10 guys generally in-house running the league from the inside the store, as well as the rest of the league doing it from their home. So kind of a unique situation and unique setting. Very fun setting from what everybody has said so far. That's kind of a lot of camaraderie while they're in-house and just hooting and hollering at each other and just having a good time. So if you're ever in the NorCal area, make sure you guys check out Sim Racers Group up there and give the captain a high five when you walk in the door. So we're watching Rafael Cardenas in the 92 coming up the front straightaway one more time. Raphael comes across the stripe with a 121 flat, so not improving on his time, still sitting in that 12th spot. And Neil Day had just a two green sectors coming off the last turn, was looking to get a good time in and just dipped it off on that last corner. And that's going to really impact his next lap because of this long front straightaway. So, Daniel, we were talking about, the racing and how everything's going to go, but this is a standing start league. This is a long front straightaway to go into that turn one. How do you think turn one's going to work on the start on this?
Yeah, a lot of space as we see Neil Day go around again.
Good move.
He's gonna have some issues, but he gets out of the way really quick. That was smart on his part. But yeah, the start on this is going to be interesting as we see Varun Bali come through. He looks like he's going to settle in second still. But the start, long front straightaway, a lot of chance to draft into that first corner. So we'll see who takes advantage of that, and maybe the pole sitter might not be in the best shape as you would normally expect. See Caleb Mikowitz come through. He gets into second place. He's only 76 thousandths of a second off Danush Paborji.
Yeah, Rafael Cardenas up into the 10th spot with a 120.2 to put him up into the third spot in Inter 2. But Danush Paborji still showing the way with a 119.1. He is setting the pace, but man, those guys were tucked in close.
I can't. I have to imagine there's some contact there.
Yep. Danush with a new paint job tonight, by the way. So rocking all orange tonight. In celebration of the DP sandwich that will be open up in the slow motion broadcasting deli. So we're watching on board with him and just tapped him and just gave him a little doink coming into that section. And Danush was probably trying to carry a little extra too much speed, but he's going to kind of run out of time here with 12:30 left. And he probably should have just reset from there and kept going and kept them tires nice and warm. But right now, we are winding down the time. Got about 2.5 minutes left. Paborji on points. Mikowitz in second. Varun Bali in third. Ope Oladipo in fourth. Stephen Case rounding out your top five right now. As we see Stephen Case coming around. I haven't quite figured out these turns completely from this view, so it looks like about 9 and 10 here. And this is definitely not a very used track in iRacing. Not very super popular, but is one of the newer ones. And as we were talking in our pre-production meeting, this is a definite interesting track, especially it's perfect for F4 cars, maybe even some Formula Vs or something. A little underpowered cars makes it real interesting. But with all this rock and gravel on the side of the track, there is going to be plenty of rocks being kicked up on the track tonight. As we watch Steven come off turn 13 up the front straightaway, and he had a second sector in green. That's going to put him up into the third spot, 19.26 for Stephen Case. Put him in the second row right now. Everybody's coming around with yellows. Varun's got a purple sector 1 in car number 45 coming up the front straightaway now, trying to get all that little draft, and that's going to put him up into the third spot, 119.2. So that's going to put him on the inside of the second row, knocking Stephen Case back into that fourth spot. Everybody else kind of on their yellow sectors right now. No big improvements right now. As we're closing in, about 45 seconds left for these guys to get across the line and try to get a good, clean lap in. And Daniel, we've seen quite a few cars jumping off the track, and I kind of brought it up, but that could really play into a factor with having some of these rocks kicked up on the track later on.
Yeah, these drivers are going to have to be really in tune with how the racetrack develops, and over the course of the race, you're going to have rubber laid down on the racing groove, but anywhere there's gravel, which basically means anywhere around this track, you might run the risk of getting some of that kicked on the track, and that's going to really cut down on your traction. And if you're ready for it, you can avoid it and make do, but man, it can catch some of these drivers out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that tonight.
All right, everybody's coming down for their last laps right here. This is the end of qualifying. Everybody's on their final lap. Igor Grunsky comes across the line with a 121.6, put him 18th overall. Looks like everybody else kind of on their yellows. No improvements on their lines right now. As you see the 3 car getting spun out right there. Igor just sending it, getting spun around a little bit. Kalen Michaelwitz getting dipped the tire off a little bit there, trying to get all that extra draft from Embriette, but could do, and must have went offline. Rafael Cardenas with a purple sector 2 coming into that last turn, tries to carry as much speed as he can onto the front straightaway. Rafael starts weaving back and forth and not enough in it, so no improvement. Joshua Corwin comes across with a green sector 1, put him 6th overall, 119.7 for the captain. Daniel Lubivi still on the track in the 069. Rafael in the 34 coming around right now. Everybody, like we said, all in yellow sectors right now. So it looks like we're kind of going to be gridded up the way we are on the board, as we're just waiting for the last couple cars to make their way by and close out this qualifying session. And got the 34 stopping here. Rafael on the clock, but he is done. So we're just kind of waiting for him to get set and for the timer to expire. And we will get gridded up as we're just waiting, watching Rafael drive around in that beautiful livery. Black, purple, and white, Fanatec sponsored. And coming around, a beautiful view. Getting the tires nice and warm. Just a casual Wednesday night drive. Looking at the scenery. There we go. That is it for qualifying. And here is our grid for the SRG F4 class. On point, it is Danush Paborji Day, 023, qualifying on the point with a 119.153. In the second spot goes to Kalen Mikowitz with the 888 car. Second row is going to be Varun Bali, and next to him is the Inter-Alien of Stephen Case. On the third row, you got Ope Oladipo. On next to him, Joshua Corwin. Fourth row, Christopher Wang with Tyrone Da Silva. Next to him, Jose Navas in the 9th spot. 10th spot goes to Daniel Lubivi. 11th spot goes to Rafael Cardenas. 12th spot goes to Kukaran Dillon. 13th spot is the captain, Jason Cotcher. 14th spot is Billy Campbell Peach. 15th, Adam Duvall. 16th, Ryan Shia. Then you got Thomas Bashir is 17th. 18th, Igor Grunsky. 19th, Ken Glasser. And the 20th is Jason Trantham. And 21st, Rodolfo Samudio. Sir Rob Vase, 22nd. Embriette Hyde, 23rd. Tyler Hagan, 24th. 25th, Paul Mirchek. Neil Day, 26th. And Diego Posada on the 27th. We are getting everybody gridded up. It is getting close to time. Like we said, Daniel, this is a long front straightaway. This could lead to a real interesting turn 1.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes out for any sort of issues, but looks like it's pretty wide there, so hopefully these drivers will have enough space to find a groove, but lights are on.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on. We are racing here at the Sachsenring circuit. All sorts of chaos. They're going 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. We talked, Daniel, you've talked about it being wide. Here we come down into turn 1 with a full send in there. Kayla Michaelwitz goes on the inside of Danush, takes over the lead as we got all sorts of chaos back there in turn 1. And about 5, 6, 7 cars all getting tangled up in that wreck. One nice thing about this is there's no damage in this league. So if you do get a wreck, lose a wing or whatever, it just magically pops back on. So we are on right now with Tyrone Da Silva. Already Tyrone moving up a couple spots from his qualifying. Big jumper already on the first lap. Diego Posada moving up 11 spots right now, sitting in that 16th spot. So big mover and shaker there, trying to get his way up there. As Diego in the world famous Lewis Hamilton 44, trying to do his inner Lewis and try to work his way up through the field. But up front, you've got Danush Paborji taking back the lead. Kalen dropping back to 3rd. Not quite sure what happened as we were watching that wreck back there. But Kalen Michaelwitz dropping back to 3rd. Stephen Case up into 4th right now. So he is in position. He's the one that likes to sit there and lurk. And Daniel, he just likes to just sit there and methodically wait for a mistake for these guys.
Yeah. Oh, no. A wreck coming out of the last corner. Cars everywhere. It looks like it was Ope Oladipo. Yep, he's able to finally get that corrected, but not after major spots given up in that incident. As we look back to the leader, Danush Paborji hadn't have to take a defensive line over Stephen Case. And then that was these guys still duking it out for this lead. They are blanket covering the top three right here. We'll get a replay of the start on with Jose Navas Molina. We'll get a good look at that 3 wide heading down into turn 1. But it looks like he gets through there okay. Oh, and just 4 wide gets turned there, and that collects that whole outside row. Everybody thought they could go wide, maybe sneak around there, but track just funnels out the incident to the outside, and that causes everybody to kind of slow down, and they're still locking it up, trying to get through there as they get back going. Now this is a look at what happened to Joshua Corwin, I believe, coming out of the last corner that we saw a couple laps ago. And yeah, he's going to make a move to the inside. And oh, he just lost it on the inside there. He got loose and collected. I think that was Ope.
Yep, that was Ope.
And that was that. So get back to the lead of the battle going on right now. These guys are not letting anybody out of their sight.
Yeah, the top 4 are nose to tail right now. Danush Paborji leading them around. You saw a little bit of a lockup from that inside tire. We talked, that's the one real hard braking zone. But your top 4 cars have a 6-second advantage right now, all the way back to Joshua Corbin in that 5th spot. So Paborji, Case, Mikowitz, and Bali all stretching it out, and we're able to get through those first couple laps and pull away. So they are just rolling right now as we're on board with Varun Bali. Varun doing the smart thing right now. He's just kind of laying back, letting these guys burn their tires off, let these guys get together, maybe get a little tangle, but he will be in position in case something does happen. But this is that long drafting zone. This is where you can really get some straightaways and really reel into those cars in front of you. As Stephen Case still sitting in that 2nd spot, tucked in behind DP as they are coming around. Looks like turn number 10. Oh, this should be the last turn right here. This is 13 right here, up into that uphill. Varun Bali trying to make a run. Oh, your leaders, top 2 cars off into the rocks there. Able to get them both on track, and they're starting to pull away just a little bit, Daniel. Those top 2, even running off the track, they're starting to inch their way away from Varun Bali up into the 3rd spot now, making an inside move on coming into turn 1 there, Daniel.
Yeah, I think he was worried. He saw Mikowitz kind of start to fall back from those 2 leaders, and he's like, nope, I got to get by here and start making it up. We'll see the move again. Yeah, he just kind of lines up to the inside of him. He's going to make a move, just outbreaks him into turn 1, able to get the car slowed down, hold his line, and that was a great move right there. Some great racing we've seen, some clean racing. We mentioned that Brands Hatch was especially clean in the wet. But these guys are all really respectful, and that's a great aspect of this league. Some of the camaraderie you get with most of the people in that SRG on-site brick and mortar location, and it kind of carries through the whole league, sets the tone for it, and makes it good. Back on with Diego Posada. I wonder if he's going to make that car red now with Lewis Hamilton's new move.
And a yellow helmet as well. So we'll have to see how that works out for him. Maybe next season he will rock the Ferrari red. But right now we're with Diego Posada in the 13th spot. He is up to 12th spot now. What an inside move, jumping down on the inside of Jason Trantham, making that move. So Diego Posada, the car on the move right now, as Ope Oladipo goes on the inside as well, coming around that last turn, trying to make his way back up after that early wreck. But Diego starting way back at the 27th spot. And he is up 15 spots from his starting grid. Oh, as you see in the background, Kayla Mikowitz really locking up coming into turn 1 there. Really, and it's going to drop him back just a bit. But he was able to keep it controlled, able to keep it straight, and he really needs to keep in line with those guys and get that draft off these guys. Oh, Ope Oladipo gets tangled up with Jose. Man, that Jose is just having a rough night tonight. As on one of the early laps, he got tapped from somebody going into turn 1, and now Ope goes on the inside and just gets a little tangle with him, Daniel.
Yeah, it looks like he was already having issues there. Ope locked it up. And then here, just kind of, I think Ope drifted out, and that Jose tried to get back, setting up for the corner, and they just came together. I don't know if I could really lay blame to anybody there. That looks like a racing deal, but both of those drivers starting to fall back, and neither of them having the race they want tonight.
Absolutely not. So out front, we still have DP leading them away, but in the amateur class, in that Inter 2 class right now, we've got Christopher Wang leading them around in that 8th spot as we're watching the front cars again. But here's Christopher Wang in the 14, tucked in behind the 422 of Jason Cotcher. But right behind him is Rafael Cardenas. Rafael with the nice little parade lap there at the end of qualifying, trying to just show his way around and get that inner mojo going. And he is sitting in that 2nd spot right now. Cardenas up a couple spots up into that 9th spot. So he is on the black wing of Christopher Wang now, trying to make a move as we're just over 7 minutes down. So we're closing in on that halfway point. But as we remind you guys, we have 3 different divisions running. The blue markers on the left side is our Inter 1 class. The red marker is our Inter Alien of Stephen Case in the 4th spot, and all the orange ones is our Inter 2. That is our kind of like an intermediate, our beginner intermediate class. So we're watching Stephen Case in the 4th spot. Stephen dropping back a little bit. We're not quite sure where that came from, but he's on the inside of Kayla Mikowitz coming through turn 12 into turn 13, trying to stick that inside line as you see him get by Kalen and take over that 3rd spot. But Kalen's going to tuck in behind that wing, Daniel, as he drags him down that front straightaway, trying to get a good run on him.
Yeah, I saw that and looked like Steven. I don't know if he was letting him by and maybe toying with him a little bit, but we've seen that before this season. He looked like he got drafted by a couple laps ago, so I think that's now he's going to try to make his way back up, try to run down Danush Baborji and Varun Bali. So he goes wide and opens the door for Kalen Mikowitz. Mikowitz sticks his nose in there, but Steven shuts the door, defends it, and fends him off for another lap or two. But back now with Rafael Cardenas. We saw him earlier. He looks like he's fallen back. I think he was up into 2nd in the Inter 2 class. Don't know what quite happened with him, but he's got bunch of cars in front of him now as we'll get a replay of it, see what happens here. You just get, he got some of that inside curb. Oh, I think it just put him right to the outside curb and caused him to break free and took him right around.
Yeah, tough break for Rafael. Now he's got to work his way back up. He was running 2nd in the Inter 2 class. Man, this is a great battle for 3rd and 4th right now. Kalen Mikowitz all over the back wing of Stephen Case. Stephen trying to break that draft as you see Danush and Varun going at it, tucked in. But here comes Kalen on the outside. As you know, if we watched all season long, Stephen knows exactly where to place his car to put blocks on these guys. And he really is very smart on his placement of his car. And Kalen has to reserve back into that 4 spot and tuck in behind as they come around that long, like 270-degree turn. This is almost a complete circle all the way around. That carousel is brutal. And now we're into that triple left-hander as Kalen trying to stay close into Stephen Case, trying to get a good run on him when they get into that straightaway. But with these guys fighting side by side, Daniel, they're really starting to lose touch with the leaders.
Yeah, they're 1.8 seconds, and that gap just keeps growing. But now back through the pack, we're watching him along with Diego Posada. Oh, he gets wiped out. That was, I believe, Daniel Lubivi. Yeah, he's off too. That was just into that corner, and I don't know what happened there. That looked like somebody missed their braking point by a good bit, and Diego, unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time, gets the brunt of that. We see.
And that may have also been a little bit of losing his signal there, but yeah, I think Daniel just missed that corner and just plowed into the back of Diego. Tough break for Diego. He was doing a good job moving up, but still up 13 spots, so he's got his work cut out for him. And as they've got Serab Vase sitting right behind him as well, so a good 3-way battle for these guys coming around. This is for your 14th, 15th, and 16th spot as Rafael Cardenas is trying to make a move back up. He's on the outside line coming off the front straightaway and gets by the 28 of Jason Trantham. Jason tucks in that back wing draft, trying to get some move in, but not close enough coming into that turn 1 sector. As we're jumping around, Danush Paborji back into the 5th, dropping off. Danush falling off the track. He is back into the 6th spot. Not quite sure what happened, but Stephen Case now out in front. I'm wondering if him and Varun got together and knocked him back. As we're watching the replay with Danush and Varun getting together, and that was it. They got tangled up. Varun able to get clean away. Stephen Case was the benefactor of all that. Oh, and then Varun spins out again. Oh, man, from bad to worse. Varun able to get back going, but Danush Paborji getting really short-ended on that. And he's going to lose a couple more spots as he finally tries to get all those rocks cleared off. It gets us sucked up. Oh, and gets off the track again. Slides out. Able to keep it going at least, not spinning out. But, man, Danush Paborji was out in front and in control and drop it back into that 6th spot. So he's got a little bit of work cut out for him as we've got less than 8 minutes still left to go. We can probably do our run through of the field right now to kind of get everybody on camera as we go up front with Stephen Case. Right behind him is Kalen Mikowitz. So this is a great battle. These two have been going at it for a while. Then in the 3rd spot, you had the early front runner as well, Varun Bali in the 3rd place in 0:45, just about 8 seconds behind these guys. And then in the 4th spot, you got Tyrone De Silva in the 480. Right behind him is the captain of Joshua Corwin. Excuse me, not the captain, Joshua Corwin in the 5th spot. 6th spot, the internet sensation DP having a tough time trying to get back going. But here comes the captain right behind him in the 7th spot of Jason Cotcher. In the 8th spot, you've got your first Inter 2 driver, Christopher Wang. Christopher Wang's been doing a great job the last couple weeks, leading him around in that Inter 2 class. In 2nd now in Inter 2 is Thomas Brashear, about 3 seconds behind him, but he's got a whole rear wing full of Billy Campbell Peach in that 10th spot. Then you got another about 8 seconds back to Rafael Cardenas. A little bit farther behind this battle here for 9th and 10th. Looks like Ope Oladipo now up into the 11th spot as we're working our way through the field. Ope able to get on the inside of Cardenas as they come up onto the front straightaway. Cardenas now back into 12th. In the 13th spot, technical difficulties in our production booth. Too many battles everywhere. We are really just trying to get everybody in. Then we'll go through them real quick. 13th is Jason Crantham. In 14th is Daniel Lubivi. 15th spot is Adam Duvall. Then you got Jose Navas in the 16th spot. Sabrab Vaz in 17th. 18th spot, the tough luck guy tonight, Diego Posada in the 44. 19th is Kukaran Dillon. 20th spot is Neil Day. 21st, Ken Glasser coming over the crest right now in 22nd as Igor Grunsky in car number 3. 23rd spot, Rafael Samudio, about 2 seconds behind him. Tyler Hagan in the 24th spot. Then you got Embriette Hyde right behind him, trying to get all that draft as she can down the front straightaway. And Paul Mirchek in the 26th spot, as it looks like Ryan Chia off the track. So we're up right now with Jason Cotcher in the 9th spot with a great battle with him. Tyrone De Silva trying to get by him, Daniel. And, Jason goes off the track.
Yep, just sent it too hard, and it looks like he wasn't the only one. It looks like Ope, I think, was there as Jason just teleports back to the pits to avoid any sort of further incident there. But, Ope was the other one we saw kind of go off behind him. He gathered it back up, and he is right on the back wing of Tyrone De Silva. So that battle will keep going as this race goes on.
Ope definitely has some good pace, but has had a lot of small incidences. But we're going back up with your leader, Stephen Case, your inner alien, leading them around. In the 2nd spot is your first Inter 1 driver of Kalen Mikowitz. Kalen right behind him as they are coming down the hill right now. But you see some lap cars ahead of him. This could play factor into him. Oh, no, not anymore as they go out excurging, doing their best Baywatch impersonation in the sand. But as you see, Kalen able to navigate through them, still staying close enough to Stephen Case to try to get a little bit of draft, just a half second back, trying to get closer. But Stephen Case got a good run, but you can see the numbers start dropping just a bit. So he closes about a 1/10 of a second, just over a 1/10 of a second down that straightaway. So he needs to be a little bit closer, get a better pull, better draft, and try to get by Stephen Case. We've got less than 4 minutes to go. We've talked about how much action's been going on, Daniel. That's the one thing about this league is it's just action, 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 and the next thing you know, we're done.
Yeah, there's so many battles in a 20-minute sprint format just really ramps up the intensity. So these drivers trying to get everything they can as soon as possible, and it's led to some great racing. And we've seen some great battles as we see Ope now. I think he gets by Tyrone Da Silva, so he's looking at clawing back some of those positions he's given up throughout this race. So he's going to start pulling away. He's already out half a second, so pedal down for him. Diego right in the middle of a 3-car battle. Surab Vaz and Kukran Dillon, those three covered by less than a second. As we see somebody go off right in front, we just got away. But Danush Poborji also in a great battle, 5th place, right behind Josh Corwin. Those two really tight there. That was almost disaster as he dipped a wheel into that sand. Now he's going to look to get a run down the front stretch. We've seen that defensive line taking the inside away from the guy trying to pass, and it really sets him up to be able to defend in turn 1. But Joshua looks like he just got on the brakes a little earlier, and Danush was able to carry it around the outside and take that position. He's going to have to work a little bit to reel in the top 3 for this battle, as we see somebody lock up, and that was Paul. Yeah, Paul locked it up. That's going to allow Billy to catch right back up to him. I think that was a lap car. That was Thomas Brashear in the red car. Mirchik was the lap car in the middle of that. So action all over the place, Mike.
Yeah, it is never a lack of action, especially on a track where the lap times are 1:20. There is non-stop action as we're still watching Billy Campbell Peach work on that. Thomas Brashear trying to find a spot to get by as we look back at Kukran Dillon in the 17th spot, battling it out with Diego Posada. But I have to give another shout out to the 7th place car of car number 1 of Thomas Brashear. Thomas is up 10 places right now, so he's been able to make some good moves as well. As we were talking about Diego making good moves, Thomas is up 10 spots and looks like he's starting to separate himself just a bit from Billy. And as we're closing in on 1 minute to go, so these guys are going to be coming by for their white flag here probably the next time by. So we're going to probably get one more lap from these guys. As we were talking, just like the action is nonstop in these 20-minute kind of sprint main events. The next lap by will be their white flag, so they're going to get one more time around. Stephen Case is able to start pulling away from Kayla Mikowitz now with about a 1.5 advantage on him, and starting to pull away. 18-9 last time by for Stephen, turns the fast lap of the race. Kaylin's still hanging on that 2nd spot as we go back with Kukran and Diego going at it, coming into that last turn right now, up the front straightaway, still just knocking and dragging it out for 16th and 17th. Kukran looking for a draft, trying to get a run, starting to inch his way closer coming into that turn 1 sector. Is anybody going to lock up those front brakes? This is super tight coming into here, watching that go. No brake lockup from these guys. As we go back to Joshua Corwin, Josh is able to close back in with Danush. This is that last sector, Daniel, where you could really get some drive on these and get a little draft, as you see everybody coming around for that white flag right now as they're coming on to that last turn.
Yeah, he's going to look to try to get by Danush here, get a good drive out of this corner, stay right in the wheel tracks, get as much draft as possible, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to be able to make a move, especially with how good Danush has been into that turn 1. Looks like Billy Campbell Peach trying to do the same thing on Thomas Brashear, but he's also a little bit farther back, about half a second. You really need to be right on that rear wing to make a move like that work. We've seen a lot of good battles into that corner, but passes are a little more rare than that, and these drivers are really having to fight for it.
That is right. As everybody's on their white flag, and if you may have noticed on the front straightaway, we got 2 white flags waving for some reason. We got 2 Barneys up there waving the flags for us. So double the pleasure, double the fun here at the Sachsenring. Stephen Case leading him around still with a 2.5 advantage, but we are back with Danush Poborji. This is your closest battle up front. He's got Joshua Corwin tucked in behind. Joshua trying to reel him in, trying to get a good run on him. As we see Stephen Case coming down the front straightaway one final time, taking the win in the Alien class. In the 2nd spot coming around right now is Kayla Mikowitz, but we'll jump back with Danush and Josh as they're coming around that last sector right now. And as we see Billy Campbell Peach going with Thomas Brashear, Thomas blinking out a little bit. Ope Oladipo not too far back, but Ope pushing that turn just a little too far as everybody in the top 6 have concluded their lap. They're coming around the last time by up the front straightaway. Brashear trying to lead him into that spot, and he is able to get by and hang on to the 7th spot. Billy Campbell Peach will come home in 8th. Ope bringing it home in 9th as we're back with Serab Vez, who is still trying to work on Diego Posada for that 16th and 17th spot. And coming into that last sector right now, the last half of the track right now, Serab trying to close in. Oh, Diego dips the tire off just a bit. Here comes Serab given a chance to close in on that last sector, trying to get a little run on him. Coming up that hill, up the front straightaway. Is he going to be able to get a little bit of draft off of him coming up the straight? No, Diego Posada able to hang on to that 16th spot. Serab Vez will come home in 17th as we've got one more car on the track waiting for Kukaran Dillon. Come around. Oh, excuse me. Yep, Kukaran's done. Rafael is already done doing a victory lap for himself in that 20th spot. So we're just waiting on timing to kind of clean up here. And Daniel, why don't you run through our standings right now?
Yeah, Stephen Case taking the overall win in that Inter-Alien class, just putting on a clinic like he does every week. Kayla Michaelwitz, your Inter 1 winner in 2nd place overall. Varun Bali and Danush Paborji, that battle, you saw them get into it a little bit. They end up 3rd and 4th, and Josh Corwin in 5th. First Inter 2 driver, Christopher Wang, taking home 6th place with a couple of more Inter 2 drivers behind him, Thomas Brashear and Billy Campbell Peach, 7th and 8th. 9th place goes to Ope Oladipo, and 10th place is Tyrone De Silva. Daniel Lebevi rounds out top finishers of Inter 1 in 11th. And then you got Jason Trantham in 12th, Jose Navas in 13th, Rafael Cardenas and Adam Duvall 14th and 15th. Diego Posado brings home 16th, Sarab Vaz in 17th, and Kukaran Dillon in 18th position. We switch over to the next page of results. Ken Glasser in 19th, Rodolfo Samudo in 20th, Embriette Hyde in 21st, Neil Day in 22nd, Tyler Hagan 23rd, Paul Mirchik in 24th, Igor Grunsky in 25th, and your early finishers, Igor, Jason, and Ryan. So that is your finishing order from the Sachsenring.
Good action from these guys, and looks like we have our first interview of the night. So we will pull in our first interview, and Christopher Wang. Christopher coming home the winner in Inter 2 class tonight. Great run from you. Looked like there was a lot of action all night long in this race.
Hey guys.
Good evening.
Yeah, I felt a little bit stressed out, honestly, throughout the entire race. I can feel my heart rate slowly starting to come down. Towards the end of lap 1, the fact where damage off league also bailed me out a little bit. I had a little bit of contact. Followed good old Captain Cotcher around for a little bit as a draft buddy, and a little bit soon after that I had to dodge him sideways across the track. But I'm very happy I brought it home.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting track. It's not very well used in a lot of classes, so not a lot of people are super savvy around here. But that whole first sector is so tough. It's so like long, sweepy turns, and then that last sector is where you can, like you said, get into that draft and get a draft buddy and really try to pull around. So great job from you. Qualified in 7th spot, moved up 1 into 6, taking home the win in Inter 2. Did you have any real there was some chaos. There were some great battles going on the whole time. Did you kind of get checked out, or were you able to? Did you have any good fights going on?
Yeah, I don't think I had much in the way of, I guess, fights for position. Qualified first in Inter 2, and I try to, use that to my advantage when I can. If the person behind me is not in Inter 2, I won't fight him too much. I was fighting kind of throughout this race with the curbs, honestly. I don't know if it's this car being low or the curbs being unforgiving. It feels like if you go a millimeter over, then they'll bite you.
Yeah, some of these re-imaged curbs are definitely tougher on these firm suspension cars like this. So, but great run. We've seen you actually run really good here in the last few weeks, leading the points, if I remember correctly, in Inter 2. Going into the last race at Barcelona, how do you feel running around Catalunya next week for the final race of the season?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've run Barcelona, so can't answer that off the top of my head, but I remember having fun with it. I'm sure I'll, learn the track as best I can, and it'll be a good time. Excited to see you guys next week.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to wrap it up next season and see how it comes out. While you got up here in the booth, do you want to give a shout out or thanks to anybody?
Yeah, I want to thank Captain Jason Cotcher for doing this whole Sim Racers group thing, connecting us with you guys. On the topic of that, thank you guys for always putting on a great show. I always love rewatching the race afterwards. Also want to thank all my fellow competitors, Inner 1, Inner 2, and Mr. Inner Alien. It's very fun racing with these guys every Wednesday.
No, yeah, it looks absolutely fun. And Chris, congratulations on your win tonight. And like I said, we look forward to seeing you next week on our season finale at Barcelona.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. All right, that was our Inter 2 winner, Christopher Wang. Daniel, looks like you're going to have your Inter 1 winner.
Right, I do. Mike Kalen Mikowitz here in the booth now, picking up the win in Inter 1. Kalen, it looked like you had a solid run out there and kind of running behind Varun and Danush for a little bit. Was that part of your strategy, kind of lay back and capitalize on their mistakes?
Yeah, start of the race, I kind of messed up because I missed my braking zone and cut Danush off. So, I gave him the position back. And, I was just running behind Steven and Danush and Varun. And I thought, okay, I'm happy with the P3 here. I had some fun battles with Steven because I don't know if you saw, I tried to squeeze him and then he just porked it on the apex. And when I saw them go off, I was kind of happy, but wish I had the pace to really beat them on track. But yeah, I'm really happy with the win. Helps my standings points.
Yeah, and you mentioned Stephen Case there. How much does it help to be able to battle someone like that and kind of learn those tricks of the trade from someone that's that quick, able to stay right there with him and battle him? Is that some little bit of confidence boost or just learning the racecraft?
Oh yeah, no, he has tricks for sure. He has ways to defend really well. I wish I could have battled him more because I would always lose downforce at Volkswagen curve and would lose 2 or 3 tenths. And but yeah, I think Steven's really good, and I like learning from him. Even looking at his telemetry, he has some really fast pace. So yeah, it's fun to race him. I'm glad he's back.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great benefit of this league is to run with those guys and pick up some of their tricks. So you avoided the chaos of the front straightaway for the most part, it seems, and able to do well there. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to while you're up here in the booth?
Yeah, thanks to Jason again for putting on the league. He's back. He's healthy. He's having fun. Had a great race with him last night as well. And just shout out to Varun also, tough crash. But yeah, hopefully he does well in the championship. And I know Alex is listening, and Alex is also fighting for that championship. So I'm really excited to see how that pans out. Good luck.
Well, that's awesome, and good luck to you too. We've got Barcelona coming up as the season finale, and hope to see you do well and maybe get you back up in here.
Yeah, probably won't do well. I don't like that track, so I'm just gonna be happy with the top 5.
Oh, you're not the first one to say that. So wish you luck, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
That was Kayla Michael was your Inter 1 winner. Mike, quite the race tonight.
That was definitely no lack of action tonight, as always, with the SRG guys. Here at Slow Motion Broadcasting on Saturdays at 2:20 p.m. Eastern, we've got the Ray Esports Formula V's going on. And then on Sunday, we've got at 12:45 Eastern, Ray Esports with the Formula Fords. And then we got Spec Fords on Sundays at 2:45 Eastern as well. On Sundays, normally also Sunday nights, usually have XSLR, but we're off this week. On Tuesdays, though, we got American Muscle Series back with just a whole pack of just American muscle going around the track. great season and a great league to watch. And then the best night of the week, Wednesday nights, we've got Ray Esports with their club racing league. They're in their version 3 right now with these guys. And next week is our final season finale here for SRG from Catalunya. So at 9:45 Eastern next week, we look forward to seeing you guys back. So I just want to thank our team tonight in the production booth. We've got Adam Stud Muffin Thompson in production. Joining me in the commentary booth, Daniel Patutier Hall, and I am Mike Cutie Patootie in Braun. Closing out here at the Sachsenring. We'll see you next week from Catalunya.